But before we do that, as always, we have the fabulous, wonderful, best librarian in the whole world, also with Election Day special books, is probably going to be in everyone's mind. Welcome, round of applause, Miss Stacy Wright.
Hey, Mustangs. It is so nice to see you on this crazy week. So, in the Alderwood Middle School Library, oh, and don't forget, even though you're learning at home, the Alderwood Middle School Library is open for curbside pickup and and audiobooks. Um, so, we have all kinds of books about government, about the Constitution, about political figures. We have Biden, we have Trump, we have Kamala Harris. But I wanted to do something a little bit different today. So the first book that I want to share with you is called One Person, No Vote. And it is how not all voters are treated equally. Now, in Washington State, we are very, very lucky because we can vote by mail. We vote by mail. Could not be easier to vote in Washington State. However, in other parts of the country, ever since 1964 with the Voting Rights Act, which was supposed to make it easy for everybody to vote, there have been things put into place to keep people from voting. And if you looked at the news in the last couple weeks, you'll see really long lines for people voting in different parts of the country, all kinds of things that make it really hard for people to vote. And some of those are to keep certain groups from voting. So this book really talks about some of those ways and why people are still fighting for the right to vote, even though in 2020 it should not be difficult. So that is one book. The second book is a book of fiction. I keep hitting my microphone. I am sorry. It is called Running by Natalia Sylvester. And it is about a girl who her name is Mari. And she is just kind of your typical high school student. Well, except for the fact that her father is running for president. And she loves her dad, but she discovers that her dad's policies, her dad's platform, the issues he's running on, she does not agree with them. And even though most of us are probably not going to have a parent who runs for president, all of us can relate to that relative who we disagree with politically. And it's really cool how she deals with that. She has a really good support network. But I know in a lot of families that can be very heated, that, if you disagree with your relatives' beliefs, and it might be your parents, it might be your grandparents, it might be an aunt or uncle, and it can be very, very hurtful as well. So those are the two books that I have for this week. One is nonfiction about voter suppression. One is a fiction book about a girl dealing with, sharing her views to her parents and wanting to be taken seriously.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing those. You always pick really relevant, helpful books. And I think it's true too. Like, even for some families, sometimes there's disagreements among parents. So, or people that live in the household. So the student feels kind of caught in the middle, So it's great to be able to talk about that. And sometimes just with things that we go through, being able to read a book about it helps you process how you feel about it as well and get really good tips and strategies.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's how I get through a lot of things, seeing myself in the books I'm reading or learning about something I really didn't know much about.
I was talking with Phil the intern the other day about something called narrative therapy. And Phil's like an expert in narrative therapy, right? Or you're quickly becoming an expert in narrative therapy.
I'm one of the foremost authorities on narrative therapy. Yeah.
Perfect. Right. And it's not even out of grad school yet. So there you go. Yeah. Who picked who? I picked him for an intern, or he picked me. Very, very impressive. But I think that it's helpful to have narratives in our lives, because as maybe we should just do a whole thing on narrative therapy and just have you there the whole time, Miss Wright. Because the thing with narrative therapy is like to be able to have a story to encapsulate what somebody is going through, to either explain themselves or to relate it to another character's journey, is extremely helpful in a lot of, and especially in tense situations like this.
Yep. No, that's really true. And I am glad that we have an expert in our building
Yes,
on this very issue. And
definitely.
if I can help students, with any issues, if they need books on anything, you know, please send them up, or please have them email, I guess not send them up because we're not in school, but just send me an email and I can find the right book.
Sounds good.
All
All
right.
right.
And
Well, thank
also, you should all join Readers Club and come read books with me and Miss Wright.
That's right. We are very fun. So yes. And I'm excited about that. I think that's going
Yeah.
to be great. All right, Mustangs, have a good week.
Thanks, Miss
Thank-
Wright.
thank you, Miss Wright. All right. That was awesome. As always. I just think, her point, I wish I could send more students up to the library. Maybe there's like
Yeah.
a virtual library that we can send the kids to or something, but it's how many
Ebooks
of
and audiobooks.
audio, oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
There
But
you
it just
go.
makes me think, like, how many of our life problems can be solved in the library?
Truly.
Deep thoughts. Okay, cool.